Welcome back to Shiz Happens. I'm your host, Shizman, and we have a special guest and a host. I'll allow them to introduce themselves, and this is for the NBA playoffs 2025. I have Almanac, Hasan Shaikh, and I have Albert. You guys can jump in anytime. Before I get into what I like to do is just talk about round one, kind of concluding that, and then we'll get into round two, and then maybe if we have enough time, we can get in some of the awards.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, ready to go.
All right. So where do you guys want to start? Eastern Conference, Western Conference, or are you guys going to get into Game Sevens right away for round one?
I think we should start with the Western Conference. There was a lot of storylines there. I thought it was really compelling what happened.
So what stood out for you other than LeBron leaving too early or as scheduled?
I thought the two game sevens were things that stood out. Obviously, I thought the Clippers would probably win that series because they were trending in the right direction, and the Nuggets were trending in the wrong direction.
Yep.
And you saw, I mean, it was kind of a coin flip series, but the Nuggets kind of found their juice in the last couple games, or last three games, it looked like. And they ended up winning. And you fire your coach and your GM, the owner's like, we got to go a different way. This new coach is in for how many games, and now they win the series. And they beat a very good team in the Clippers, good defense, but. Jokic, the former MVP, Murray, these guys have been there before. It was a great series.
It sucked to see that as a round one matchup, right? That was
Yeah.
that was a close series throughout, right? I think each team ended up getting a blowout, right? Game 7 and what was it, like game 4 or something? That was the big blowouts. Each team that had a blowout, but it's sad to see both of those teams go. That being said, I think Clippers. We'll talk about round two, but Clippers, I think, had a better shot to beat OKC in round two just because of what they can throw at them, especially with Kawhi jumping onto SGA. But hey, now you got to deal with Jokic if you're OKC, and he's nothing to play with. He didn't play particularly well in this series, especially like in the last few games. Murray had a really big game. The bench came through really big in yesterday's game. It was just a blowout, but like he wasn't going like 30 and 15. He was barely scratching 20. He wasn't triple doubling. I mean, the thing that Jokic said after the game, like, he's like, this is the result that the owner and the team wanted after they fired Malone.
That's right.
So that was, I mean, it was interesting to see, and Jokic still has another level. Right, that's the one thing that stood out to me from that series is that you didn't see the best of Jokic yet.
I think
Yeah.
this was the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't happen. I think it's going to be an easy road ahead, in my opinion, for Denver. And then, do you think from last year's, just a thought for both of you guys, last year's Denver team versus this year's picking up Westbrook, any big impact with Westbrook? I know he had one good game, but
I don't know. I think this next series will tell. He's going back home to OKC. He sat out a game during this series too. So like I don't want to call him a non-factor. He's definitely like they don't have a lot of depth, and he's there for the depth. But I don't see him as a difference maker, and I didn't see him as a difference maker in round one as much.
Yeah, he's kind of what you get out of him is always a bonus because these guys already have that system in
loaded.
place. And not to say that he's a slouch, obviously he's a great player, but he's definitely someone who can add something, right? Maybe give you some really solid minutes when some of these other guys are on the bench. But to me, Aaron Gordon obviously is a really big part of that Denver team. I think his ascension's something I seem to overlook, picking this series. But, 22 points last game, played really well, gives Jokic, cuts him some slack offensively and defensively. Really good player. And so, I don't know if they're going to win the finals. It's going to be a little bit tougher now to grade out these teams. But yeah, how can you not? I think picking the Nuggets out of the West, I don't think it would be far fetched.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about the second round and what we expect out of there.
Yeah.
But to me, the big story out of the first round was the Rockets and the Dubs. excuse me, headed to 7 games. 3-1 lead. I was, I thought the Warriors had it in the bag, and the Rockets they made a series of it, but at the end it was just, as you can see, it's
Experience.
a little too much, right? And Curry had a really bad first half tonight, but Buddy Hield had an amazing game, and the Warriors got it done.
Yeah, where have we seen this story with the Warriors, right? Curry is the Rockets did such a great job the last 2 games, blitzing Curry, not giving him an inch, and you knew what the game plan was. It was stop Curry, let someone else beat you. Of all people, Buddy Hield was the guy. 33 points is probably, as Stan Van Gundy was saying, is a game, probably the best game of his life, right? And but then when you let Curry loose a little bit, he'll hit a three, he'll make you pay. Finished with what 50% shooting, great night. The story of the game really was the Rockets' inability to hit the three. The Warriors just
They
went
have no
berserk from three
offense.
point
The
range.
Rockets
Yeah,
they don't have that guy that they can go to, right? The Warriors, you can give it to Steph, you can give it to Jimmy. Buddy Hield aside, great game. They have that guy that you can give it to down the stretch to go make a shot. And consistently, the Rockets didn't have it in any stretch of the game. They didn't have it. Şengün is great. Şengün played an amazing series, but he's not a volume scorer. He can't put the ball in the basket at that high of a clip, right? Like that 2 big man lineup was big for them. The defense was amazing, but at the end of the day, you got to score. They scored 89 points. I think they had 75. It was 75-95 by the time the Golden State put it away. Like that 75 points in a playoff game in the fourth quarter in a game 7, you can't get away with that. They
They
should
ran out of gas, man. The tail end of
they
the game just ended. Houston ran out of gas. Last 5 minutes, you thought they were making a run. Nothing
it
happened.
wasn't gas. They didn't have
well,
offense. They were
they
Yeah,
did.
they look
Also,
confused.
it's
Yeah,
it's a veteran team.
yeah.
The Warriors have been there so many times, right? In their story, run their dynasty. But the Rockets look like the young team that was a little shell shocked towards the end. The shots weren't falling; they were making bad plays. There was one sequence where Udoka, the coach of the Rockets, was a little frustrated with Curry ISO, and then nobody helped out. Like they were helping out all game, they didn't. Then he blows by. I think it was Jabari Smith for the
yep,
layup,
yep.
and then Hield makes 2 defensive plays at the end, and they were just missing shots. The Rockets were missing shots at the end, and they just blew them out. I mean, they were up 12 at the half. They won by what is it, 17, 18 points.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they almost got to 20. Yeah,
yeah, it
It
was
was
like
crazy.
it was an 8-point game with 5 minutes left, right? And they had it
right,
scored.
yeah, and
They they,
they cut it to 3 or 5 halfway through the fourth or something
they,
like that.
they, they cut it, and the Warriors had it scored for 4 minutes. I think it was like
Yeah,
3.5 to 4 minutes. They cut the lead, and they just you don't have that score. If Fred VanVleet is the guy that you have to put the ball in his hands for offense at the end of the game, you're doing it wrong, man. Like
yeah.
as great as he is, he's great. Like Draymond said, hey, he's the reason we lost to the final, lost to Toronto in the finals in 2019.
And last game he went off, right?
Yeah,
And that's the
Yeah,
reason they
but
won.
30 or 20. Yeah.
but you're not getting consistent scoring out of Fred VanVleet. He's never been that guy. He's never going to be the guy. Like they should have made that deal. They had so much to give at the deadline. They're a 2 seed. Like you should have. They should have seen this coming. They could have made a deal for that score. They could have got Durant was out there. Jimmy Butler was out there. Like put Jimmy
Mhm.
Butler on this Rockets team. It's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're probably thinking they're like the 2 seed, right? And they're kind of cruising, and the Warriors are old or whatever. But yeah, you're right. You could always add, but I think they're just like a young team, and they're just they
Raw.
probably didn't want to give up any assets or picks,
They're
maybe.
building. They're building. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're right. I mean, hey, look, the great teams, the dynasties, they make those killer instinct moves. A lot of teams just stand pat, and give it to the credit to the Warriors. They kind of made the right moves, and we always have Steph Curry. Uh, you're in good shape.
Even
Can't really
minus
playoff
Thompson.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. So I mean, Warriors got it done in Game 7, but I'm ready for round 2.
Anything else
Same
regarding?
here.
Let's conclude round one. Anything else? Any comments for the other series?
Uh,
How about
Well,
let's comment real quick. I'd like to hear your opinion about the high school team versus the NBA team. Was it the Heat and Cavs? Any comments on
there's
that?
nothing to talk about, man.
no, that was just a laugher from get go. It was an embarrassing time for the
Coach of the
Heat.
Year award?
Oh gosh.
Possibly. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's move into
Well, what
round
about
two.
the
Yeah.
Lakers?
Let's talk about the Lakers. I'm
That
excited to
was
talk about that one. I got
that was this is what LeBron's third or the Lakers' third straight exit from the first round, I
First round.
believe.
Yeah.
and the only other time I think for him was 2021. So it's getting a little dicey for him. And Luca's, I guess, shape. He was out of shape. It looked like, in one game he gave up 29 points on defense. So it's like he's got that Zach LaVine problem. He can score, but he also gives up a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. There's I guess cryptic message from Reddick right in the post game conference
He
about
went,
his
dude.
Get in
shape.
shape.
You're trying
Get
to
in shape.
re-sign Luca. You shouldn't be saying that, JJ.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, that's what Dallas was mentioning too, right? That he kind of came out of shape and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was a really shocking series because people were like, "Hey, Lakers are going to the finals." I was probably one of them, right? That like they looked like they were trending, but Redick going small in that one game, no subs. He had those guys playing the whole second
Full
half.
half. Full half. Yeah.
That's inexperience, man.
Yeah,
Like, let's just look 3-1 series. Sorry, forget it. It was 2-1, and let's just talk about everything Reddick did. Right, so it's 2-1. Series is hanging on the balance. It can go anywhere. Right, in 2-1, it can literally go anywhere. And in that game 4, he decides to play like you said the entire second half without making a sub. Right, when you have Luca, who, as you know, was out of shape. JJ said it himself, right? He knew. You have LeBron, who's 41, right? And you got these guys empty in a tank, and they got like 16 hours of rest in between that and the next game, and that's mistake one. Mistake two, and I'll just call them all out here. He decides first before he even says about the Jackson Hayes thing that he's going to sit him. He has that spat with the media where the guy asks him about the subs, and he runs off on the interview like, "Dude, you're not Phil Jackson. You can't do that yet. You
yeah,
you can't do that yet, JJ. Like, great season. He has some promise, but dude, like, playoff basketball is different. And he was not ready for that. And then all of a sudden he says he's not going to play Jackson Hayes, and then he's petulant about it. Like, he's like, no, I'm not going to bring him in. This guy put Maxi Kleba, who hadn't played a game in the Lakers uniform, in crunch time in the fourth quarter. What, like,
yeah. And Gobert, when do you see like 2020? He was just putting
30,
back
he's
dunks.
27 and 22. 27
Yeah,
and 22,
No
30 and
boxing out.
20.
Yep.
even if they tried to box him out, he was just putting
Too
his
big.
arms over the top of
Yeah.
them like
They
they're like
had
little
no real
children
center.
picking him
Yep.
out of a basket or something.
Yep.
He was just doing whatever he wanted.
Rudy Gobert has consistently been the laughing stock of playoff series over and over in his entire career. And you just made him look like Wilt Chamberlain out there, right?
Yeah,
Like that's like JJ. That's on JJ. That's on JJ, right? Like, LeBron's not guarding him. Luka's not guarding him. You gotta try something to get him out of the game or get him off. Like this. I was happy
and
to
the
see it.
rumors are already starting too about their. NBA is the best postseason drama
Oh
of
my
any
god.
sports, right?
Yeah.
Because their players actually go somewhere. But now with the Lakers, what do you do? It's going to be a really interesting offseason. It
Yeah.
can't really.
Luka.
LeBron. I heard LeBron's going to Dallas. That's what I heard.
Sure.
Like, he said some dumb stuff. He was like, "Hey, I can't say anything." Because the last time AD said something, they shipped him out of here. He has a no trade clause. They can't do anything to him. He's just talking,
Yeah,
just yapping, man.
Well, he brought his son in, so he's just talking.
but we agree he's coming back, right?
He's coming back. He's not. He can't go out.
Like a $52 million, what that next year he'd make, right?
Dude, forget the money. He wants the swan song. He wants everybody to like worship him on the way out. He's got
Like the Derek Jeter send off.
he's got the documentary crew following around for the last 3 seasons, right? Like, just hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. And it's honestly, he should join the Dubs. Dubs got a lot of space this season. I mean, the thing is, if he wins the title with the Dubs, it's not going to be his title. It'll be Steph's, and Steph will have more than him, right? So, like, you
Yeah,
can't do that from a legacy perspective. But if he really cares about rings and he wants to win a championship for winning a championship's sake, Dubs are the move.
yeah, that would be awesome to see them finally play together. I was hoping would do that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a couple chances. They tried to make that move for him last year,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
LeBron squashed it, but they did try.
yeah,
But all credit to Minnesota, man. Ant-Man, dude,
yeah,
Kingslayer.
yeah. He's terrific. He just has the body control, the moves. In 3-point shooting wasn't as great, but getting the whole talking smack while he's doing it, he's pretty much like, I don't know why he's not the face of the NBA. He kind of embodies like this younger generation, that unapologetic, in your face type,
It's
and he
because
has
he's
the
in a
talent to
smaller
back it
market,
up. Yeah,
Minnesota.
The
Yeah.
NBA needs
Minnesota.
the NBA needs a face like that, right? And
Yeah.
the 3 point shooting is interesting to me though because he led the league in 3 pointers made. I think this season he was up there. He might have had the most actually, and that was a big change in his game this year. And then in Game 5, he didn't hit a 3 pointer. He did not score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they still won.
They still won. They had a horrible game offensively.
Yeah.
So there was a stat in the Game 7 with the Rockets and the Warriors a few years ago, where the Warriors were on the ropes. Houston went 7 of 42 from the 3 point line. They had like those 27 straight misses. Dude, the Minnesota was 7 of 46 in this.
Yeah.
They were worse in this game. They were
That is
worse.
horrible.
They were worse, and they still they had a handle on the game throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, they played pretty good defense. I mean, the Lakers, they made a game of it, and they were pretty close, but it was just too much Rudy Gobert at the end.
Too much.
Never thought I'd say that.
Do you believe you just
Shame.
said that? Too much Rudy
Yeah,
Gobert.
All right. What else before we get to round two?
let's go to round two.
Let's do it.
All right, round two. Which one do you guys want to talk about? Eastern Conference or Western Conference? I know you guys have one opinion versus another.
Yeah, so the two matchups are the Cavs and the Pacers, and then the Knicks and Celtics.
And they played
Um,
earlier. The Cavs
That's
have the
game one.
first game. Yep.
yeah, a shocker, right? Because Indiana kind of controlled that game from the beginning,
Yep.
and who would have guessed it? The way the Cavaliers steamrolled the Heat, but maybe they just played such an inferior team. They probably took them lightly and kind of got sucker punched here. And I don't know if Indiana will win it because obviously Cleveland's been the best team throughout the year. But playoffs are a different story. The Pacers, remember last year, gave the Knicks all kinds of heck at the end. Made a series out of it. That was a really good series last year. So. I don't know if Indiana's going to pull it off. I'd probably still pick the Cavaliers, but Indiana showed you something today that they just. I mean, hey, they played the Bucks so well. Slapped them around. It wasn't really a close
Yeah.
series,
It's
and then
embarrassing.
that amazing comeback, right? And to close it out, but Indiana is like a scary team. I'd say in
I
this
don't think
play.
so.
Albert,
I don't think so.
your thoughts?
Indiana. I don't even want to call them gold. I was going to say fool's gold, but Indiana is just listen. First of all, the Eastern Conference is very weak. They played
Oh
Milwaukee.
yeah,
Dame is a shell of himself. Then he gets hurt. Right? It's just Giannis probably battling through some. Just battling through a full season of like just dings, and he played great. They had no answer for him. The Cavs played without Garland today, right? And Garland's a difference maker. Let's be real; he's good, right? He's a 2-time All-Star at least, right? And it's. I don't want to say the Pacers are getting lucky, but the East is so weak. It doesn't matter. It's just the series. Whoever wins doesn't matter. You're gonna get steamrolled, right? And that's. I'll go to the
you
next.
said you don't think who's going to win in any team in the East or just in this series in this matchup. The
This
Pacers.
matchup, I don't care, and and if we go to round two, right, the next series, it's Boston's to lose, man. That's it, man. It's Boston's to lose, right? Like it's the Knicks will be lucky to get to 6 games, in my opinion, right? The other side of it, there's in the East, there's always that dumb team that gets to the ECF, right? So in the last few years, you've seen Atlanta get there. You saw the Pacers get there last year, right?
Yeah.
You just see like these just teams that have no business in the Eastern Conference Finals, a series away from the championship from the finals. Like none of these teams are there. Like it's there's not enough good teams in the East.
What's your pick,
Oh yeah.
Albert? Indiana or Cavs?
I'll probably take Cavs to be honest. Like Hasan, it's just Cavs will get it done.
4-1,
Yeah, I think
4-2?
the Cavs will get it done, but I just think Indiana always seems to have playing with house money
Yeah.
Yeah.
type vibe to them. And that's what's kind of scary in the playoffs because when you're a team that's favored to win
Yeah.
and you're kind of teetering a little, these guys kind of just come at you like they're unbothered. And they showed that today. I think people were kind of shocked. Like I came and like looked at the score. At one point, they were up pretty big, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what the heck?" And they won 50 games this year.
Yeah.
They're no slouch.
And
But
they started
yeah,
bad too. Indiana actually started really bad, so they ended the season really good, and credit to them. But like I said, man,
yeah.
I don't think it's once again like Indiana going to the finals would be the worst thing.
Oh, of course.
Unless they
But
have
what
Reggie,
would
of
the
course.
yeah? But okay, yeah. And what would the Cavs have to show you to be like a serious team? Um,
They have to
versus
bring LeBron back.
That's a good question. So, um, I don't think the Cavs have the perimeter defense to be able to contain what Boston has on the wings, right? With Brown and Tatum, and you got Derek White thrown in there and Pritchard the way that he plays, they have the height. They can definitely win the game inside. That's not how Boston plays. Boston takes the most threes in the league, right? That's their game. They're gonna play one of their bigs off the floor. Only one of them is gonna be able to play, right? It's probably gonna be Mobley. Jared Allen can't defend the perimeter. He's going to get played off, right? Because KP can get on the perimeter if he needs to, right? And so, like, the biggest thing will be like if the Cavs can show some perimeter defense, which they have the horses to be able to do it, right? But I just don't think that. I just don't think they have enough. I wouldn't be surprised. And the Cavs played really well all season. They had a great team. Their offense is really good. Donovan Mitchell's awesome. But it's Boston's to lose, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
and the season series was split. It
Yeah,
looks like,
yeah.
and it was in February, the most recent one. Cavs beat the Celtics by 7. Then in December, Cavs beat the Celtics by 4.
Mm-hmm.
Is this this is the season series, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So and then the Celtics won by 7, and then the Celtics won by 3. So
close
pretty
game.
even.
Yeah,
But again, the Celtics, I would say from the beginning were
experience. Yeah.
yeah,
from the East is like kind of fait
yeah.
accompli again, as I would say.
What's your thoughts on the Boston series?
Yeah. Well, first to answer your question, I think it'll be Cavs in 6. I don't think that series is going 7. I think Cavs will get it done. Boston was 4-0 against the Knicks. The Knicks beat no one good this season. That was their Achilles heel. They just could not beat good teams against, like, they're the top 2 in the East and top 3 in the West. They did not have a win, right? And that's just going to be the story of it, right? So it's going to be Brunson is really good. Like the Knicks are a great story, but they're also they're that player away, right? They're that player away. They gave up too much for Mikal Bridges, in my opinion. Hopefully, they still have some flexibility to get somebody. The Giannis sweepstakes are going to be big right now, right? So the Knicks might be in play for that. But in terms of versus Boston, they don't got enough there, man. There is not enough there.
What do
Yeah, I
you
agree.
got?
I think they're losing, and they do play pretty hard. I mean, they do have good players. Like you said, like you mentioned, Brunson. Now the series they played against the Pistons, the Pistons played them pretty tough
Yeah.
every game. Every game was
Yes.
pretty
Yeah.
darn good.
Yes.
And I think I mentioned it before. The Pistons are still a young team,
Yes.
kind of like the Rockets, where they made a great improvement, right? Like
Raw,
30
raw,
games.
But
raw.
they got the guy. Cade Cunningham.
Cunningham, yeah, of course.
You can put the ball in Cade Cunningham's hand at the end of a game, at the end of it, in a tough situation, and he is going to deliver. The Rockets didn't have that, but yeah, I mean, and honestly, the Pistons were in every game, even in that last game, in that game 6, they had the ball with a chance to tie the game, and they just beat. Malik Beasley gets the ball, right? Like, come on,
Yeah.
you got to get Cunningham the
Again,
ball there. Yeah.
another young team showing their age, right? They just kind of collapsed in the final few minutes or quarter or whatever it was, all kind of expected. But yeah, so like the East is kind of going the way people expected, and I think it'll probably continue to go the way it's expected. And I think Boston again wins this series, but again, Tom Thibodeau teams kind of are like this too, right? Like they just wear down. He plays,
Yeah.
only 5-7 guys.
Another
Yeah.
torn ACL coming up. What's your what is it? 4-1, 4-2. What are your picks?
I'd probably go 4-2 again.
Yeah, I think if it gets to game 6, I will be surprised. I'm thinking 4-1, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 4-1 for me too.
Yeah,
Well,
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think Boston's gonna just overpower them. We'll see what happens.
the thing with Boston is you gotta watch out for game 1. They've been resting forever. They haven't. They're going to be rusty. They probably they played the Knicks 4 times this season, so they know them. The playoffs are a different animal, right? So like game 1, if New York can steal it, that's going to tell you a lot, right? Then I can see it going 6 if New York can steal it, because they'll get one at home. The Knicks will get one at home for sure, right?
Yeah.
Game 3 or 4, they'll get it. So Boston just got to avoid the game 1 letdown, in my opinion. That's the only thing. That's if they get game 1, if Boston gets game 1, series is over. Gentlemen's sweep, 4-1.
Hasan, thoughts? You're good.
no, I'm good. I mean, that was a good point.
All right. Let's go into Western Conference. Who's excited?
Yeah, this is the one everyone's going to be watching. I mean, this is more of the compelling matchups. the players, the storylines.
Can I?
You got the former champs in one, a dynastic team towards the end, maybe one last hurrah, up and coming stars, the other two teams. It just kind of writes itself. Like,
Can,
why would you watch these East matchups? I don't even.
can I say one thing? Can I
It's,
say one thing real quick?
sure.
Thank,
Not really.
thank God the Warriors got in
That's your
because
side.
For out of the West or just this series?
got through into the second round. Because if you didn't, the four teams of the West would be Houston,
Boring.
Denver, OKC,
Okay.
and Minnesota.
Yummy.
Houston's the biggest market there, right? And Houston's a big market. Don't get me wrong, but it's nothing. No one is salivating over the Houston Rockets, right?
Yeah,
And the ratings would have been way down, in my opinion. Like Denver, Minnesota's a great team. We love Ant, like people, but he's not. He's not going to be able to get the casual fan to come watch, right? In my opinion,
sure.
but
Well, yeah, obviously that's true because obviously he plays in Minnesota, right? If he was anywhere else,
yeah, yeah,
one of the
exactly,
top three, everyone would know him.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, the ratings are up 20, I think 20% from the first round from last year, which
Yeah,
is pretty shocking. But it has to do with obviously the LeBron and Luca combo. Now I
Yeah.
wonder if it
and
drops a bit.
They're
Oh
gone.
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, no, you're right. The it would not be as exciting, I would think, if obviously the Rockets are in there playing Houston. But yeah, you have the big names now. Like, NBA is a star-driven league. We know that, and having Curry out in the first round and LeBron, it's going to take a giant hit, especially the East. I don't even know who would watch that series, and so we'll see. But obviously the compelling thing to me about the OKC Denver matchup is there's been this, I guess, a debate about who should be the MVP this year. Jokic again puts up stellar numbers. How can you root? How can you vote against him? Maybe there's voter fatigue for him since he's won it so
That's
many times.
what it is.
SGA has played very well. Obviously deserves it. And now it's going to be like, hey, let's see who's the real MVP in my opinion. So that's what I mean. So if we're just getting into picking, this is a tough one for me, but I'm gonna have to go with Shaw. I'm assuming Shaw's picking the Nuggets, but yeah, I think they got something to prove. People probably wrote them off, and now they're like, man, we got through this hurdle at the end of the season. We beat a very good team, the Clippers, right? Came in playing very good defense and were on a hot streak, and they beat them, and
Look,
and I think they beat OKC as well.
I listen. Let me just take a step back on this, right? SGA, great player, amazing player. And you can vote for him for MVP because I voted for Jokic. But like Jokic is the MVP. Let's be real. Jokic should be the MVP. He's not going to win this year. We already know that because of voter fatigue. Same reason why Embiid won over him. Jokic should have
Joel.
5 straight MVPs. Jokic is going to get his way, and SGA is going to get his way. But Jokic, in my opinion, should have 5 straight MVPs, which is like would have been unprecedented. He got second place. He's going to get second place both of those times. That hasn't been done, right? To get first or second place 5 years straight. Maybe LeBron did it, I think, maybe once, but and maybe Jordan, but like that's rare air, right? To be top 5 in MVP for 5 years straight, top 2 in MVP for 5 years straight. That being said, right, SGA is a great player. This is where I'll keep the build up, right? What happened last year, right? You ran into Luka, who is a killer. SGA is not that killer yet, right? Ran into Luka. Luka was the buzzsaw. SGA, you don't talk about SGA from that series. Luka, once again, we said he still has another level to get to, right?
Still in his
Sorry,
20s.
Joker still has another level to get to. We talked about that, right? The problem, and I agree, Nuggets are going to win. And honestly, the OKC problem,
Wow.
I talked about this earlier in the year, OKC should have made a move. And it's Presti again. Presti is always afraid to make the moves and to do what he needs to do. If you remember, he made that dumb Kendrick Perkins deal. He let Harden go because he didn't want to pay the luxury tax. He wanted to keep his assets. You're stockpiling all these assets. You have the horses, dude. They had Durant ripe for the taking, coming home to OKC to get Durant. That would have put him over the top with the trade deadline. That was the move that they needed. And once again, you're going to run an SGA down the stretch, which is fine. Who's their second scorer? That it's committee.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
committee. They don't have that second killer. Like
yeah, they don't. I mean, Holmgren's good, but again, he's he's not that guy
Jokic,
yet.
Jokic is going to eat him for lunch.
Right. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know if SGA is that kind of guy. Like, we'll see the killer instinct. Like, does he have something to
He
prove?
might
Right.
turn it on. He might turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys kind of had a cakewalk first round,
Yeah.
and so we'll see how he does. But I just think the Nuggets, to me, when they won the title, I was always like, who's going to beat these guys? They have
For a
this guy's
while.
unstoppable.
Yep.
Murray at times can be unstoppable. They have Porter shooting threes all the time. Aaron Gordon
Yep.
flying around
Yep.
and playing
And
terrific. Now
don't
he's even
forget
better.
Westbrook.
Yeah, who's gonna beat these guys ever? Because NBA is like a dynasty-driven type sport, right? Like the same teams
Yeah.
usually who
Yeah.
win the title. So I
Spurs.
was like, okay, maybe this is their time. But then they had a hiccup last year, and
They
now
gave a 20
I
point
don't
lead.
know.
They had that game 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. They gave it up. Ant-Man played amazing. They lost some of their depth, right? KCP's gone. Bruce Brown is gone. You got Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook. Those are the two bench players. I think Brown's starting now too. Russell Westbrook off the bench, and I think they bring like Zeke Naji off the bench now. That's the other guy, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not a good bench. But if you get playoff Murray, and if you get that guy, then and you got Joker. They don't have the horses to stop them, right? Like that's the OKC's got depth, but they don't. They won't be able to keep up with just that onslaught from Jokic. They just won't.
I agree, but my only thing is, as I said earlier, just you don't have to agree, but I just think the Western Conference has been completed against the Clippers. I think that was the toughest round for them, and they beat them. And I think Joker's gonna kill everybody after this. He's gonna go to the finals and maybe win.
If
Yeah, yeah,
let's put it. Well, let's talk about. We'll talk about the third round. But the thing that I'll
yeah,
say is, if the Dubs get through to play the Nuggets in the next round, that will be a series. That will be a series.
Hmm.
But Dubs got a
yep,
tough opponent next round. So let's talk about that one first.
yep. Go ahead,
What do you got? What
Hasan.
do you
Yeah,
got? What do you got?
this is a tough one. This is the
Sorry,
one that
sorry,
was.
guys. I just like to hear what's your pick on the last round. Who takes it? Denver, both of you.
I
4-2,
I'm gonna go
4-1,
Denver.
Denver.
4-2.
I think it goes to 7, and I think it's Denver.
Wow, Hasan, what's yours? Four
I
two.
would say Denver in six probably.
Yeah, 6-7 for me.
Yeah,
Ooh, ooh, that's scary. SGA might
it's
be
gonna be
crazy.
good.
So, yeah,
Game one's gonna be pretty fun to
yep,
watch.
Yep. Yep.
yep. Okay, let's move on to Golden State. Tired, right? Just came out of a game 7.
Yeah, but like they do this, right? Like they just play so many games. It's like um, they're used to it. It's like they give these teams a little hope,
Yep.
a little
And they
glimmer
kill
of
him at the
hope.
end.
A lot of people were saying, oh, I don't know if it was Stephen A. Smith or someone, but oh, if they don't win Game 6, like it's over. And they probably said that because these guys are old. They've been around a long time. This is the last hurrah. They're just on fumes right now. And Houston is up and coming team. They have young, fresh legs. The tempo in Game 6, they were flying around, defense, dunking, shooting, whatever. They had it all, and the Warriors look kind of old, But today they just did what they usually do. They were
Right.
just hitting threes, and they were coming at Curry, and he was stuffed. Even in Game 6, they were like, whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna switch, we're gonna double, we're gonna go at him, and it was working, and it wasn't working today because Buddy Hield stepped up. So that's the X factor with the Warriors. Like somebody always steps up. I don't know who it is or why. It
Mm-hmm.
was even like that one game, and I don't know if it was a regular season against the Lakers. Was it Pajemski just
Pajemski.
out of nowhere? It was like killing LeBron
He had a big
in
game
the
this year too. Pajemski had a big game.
yeah
They always find that one extra guy, right? And when they don't,
yeah
Jesus, but they usually find it.
yeah. And again, if they're hitting their threes,
Yeah.
I mean, they have so many of those shooters, and Draymond's he's got a different role now, and Butler's their playoff Jimmy. We haven't seen him really
I
break
have not
out,
seen
but
playoff Jimmy.
Yep.
yeah,
No,
but again, that's still
he
something
got
that could
20. He had
possibly
20 today.
He
20
yeah
plus
yeah. He
yeah
he had a really big in the game 4 when they went up 3-1. He had a really big game in that one. He had that
after the injury. After the injury, yeah.
but
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
So it's like they're getting help from a
Yep.
different guy every
Yep.
night,
Yeah.
right? But then you still have Steph, right?
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
closer, the ultimate
Yeah.
closer, and he did that today.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, go ahead,
Yeah, I mean,
Albert.
look, the thing that I'll say about this is so one of my friends in one of my group chats said this. He goes, the Lakers went small, right, in that last game to be able to neutralize some of their bigs to get Rudy Gobert off the floor, to get Randall off the floor, to be able to play that perimeter-oriented game because they didn't think they could keep up, right? And my friend goes, listen, playing small is all fun until you got Dorian Finney-Smith playing center in a pivotal playoff game, right? The
Yeah.
Warriors can play small. They got Draymond. Draymond is the ultimate small ball center, right? He's shown that, right? And they can play small ball with him, and then he can get Rudy Gobert off the floor. Randall, honestly, is a crapshoot. Randall had a lot of motivation because of what the Lakers did to him, and like just he just does not like that franchise because LeBron screwed him
Revenge.
in the
Yeah.
Anthony
Yeah.
Davis deal. He doesn't have that same motivation right now, I don't think, right? And once again, Warriors have the championship pedigree, right? They can play small. They can get Gobert off the floor. You get Gobert off the floor, you're relying on you're relying on Naz Reid and you're relying on Jaden McDaniels to make shots. Can you do that for 7 games?
Well, that's the big question too. But yeah, you don't know. I think Naz Reid shows up. I mean, he showed up last year in the playoffs
Oh,
too,
he's going to
right?
get paid in the.
It's like, yeah, like Minnesota looked like like a really different team. It's like they just cranked it up a
Yeah,
notch,
they did.
many
They did.
notches.
They had that level.
Who was it? I think it was their main defender who's guarding Doncic and McDaniel. I think it is his
Yeah,
name was.
yeah, McDaniels. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like if you look at Houston, right? How they were blitzing Curry and just playing up, trying to play that faster
Yep,
tempo and just not letting Curry beat them.
yep,
It was like the old Kobe strategy, right? Like, okay, if he gets 40, okay,
yep,
we can just let the other guys get, their try to get match him. But does Minnesota have that in them too? Like maybe they do. I don't know. That's why this is like the toughest one to call because even though the Warriors proved like, hey, they looked really good tonight against a younger team, hungrier team. Uh, Minnesota, can they? I mean, they got a taste of it. They were very close
yep,
last year, right?
yep.
And now it's like they look like they're on a mission,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but like the Warriors are in their way. That's the thing. It's like I don't know if I could ever
yeah,
bet against Curry
yeah,
until he leaves. It's like in football. Everyone picks the Chiefs until like you beat them, right?
yeah.
Like even people can say, "Oh,
Or
they,
like
they
the
look
Spurs
older,"
back in the
or
days,
no, he's
Spurs, you know, they'd always find a way out. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The Warriors, but again, they're older. They're not the same Klay
no,
Thompson young legs team.
Yeah,
So it's like, can they keep this going? Can they? It looks like they can. They look like they were okay. It's a good win. Also, the winning a game 7 and like that euphoria, and then there's like the letdown, right? You're gonna go face a team that's a little well rested, uh, and then they come on
younger.
game 1 and just like annihilate you. Who
Yeah,
knows? Like so I think if the Warriors can win game 1 and kind of set the pace, that's how they win the series
yeah,
and enforce like the T Wolves to play like in a pressure situation where they're always
yep,
coming back.
yep. What's your picks, guys? Give me some picks.
So, I mean, what I'll say, before we get to the picks, a couple
Yeah,
storylines, right? Number one, Ant being guarded by Jimmy Butler. Jimmy
scary.
Butler, playoff Jimmy on defense, right? Like Jimmy Butler's up to that challenge, but Ant Man, he's the Giant Slayer. He gets everybody, right? He's shown that he gets everybody, right? The other one, I think Draymond got his 4th or 5th technical of the postseason, and the 7th one is a suspension, right?
Yeah,
That's looming, right? That's and Draymond can't be like. I mean, if he gets suspended, that's a game. They're going to give a game away, right? Like that's one, right? In my opinion, right?
Agreed.
And he's a loose screw with that, right? And he's already choked out Gobert, so that's big. But it could go the other
that's
way.
right.
It could go the other way, right? Like Draymond could just turn it on, right? Like he can do that too, and he can change the series himself. So
He turned it on
yeah,
today. He scored like a
and
lot.
and
So
and like Steph, he didn't have a great round 1, right? So like he's got some redeeming to do there, right? I think game 1 goes to Minnesota. I mean, but I think that they can rally for game 2, right? And they only need one there, right? Because the Dubs' home court advantage is like no other, right? Like you play Golden State in the playoffs, and it's a different atmosphere. But those are the storylines, right? The Ant on Jimmy, Jimmy on Ant. That one is going to be amazing because those guys are going to go at it, and they're both yappers. They're both going to talk.
yep,
It's going to be great.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, let's assume the Nuggets make it to the next round. Like,
Yeah.
which one of these two teams has the best chance to knock them off?
Well, Denver already did it. Or sorry, Minnesota already did it, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and Warriors are the champs. So they can both do it, right? I think the team coming out of the West is the winner of this series.
Is going to be the winner of the
This
NBA Finals.
Champions, the champs,
Oh,
the people going the Western Conference champion is going to be
winners.
these two teams, Warriors or Nuggets.
you, so you think like if the Warriors made the finals, they could beat the Celtics?
I didn't say. Well, first of all, I do think that number one.
He's a fan. He's biased.
Because they've already done it. They just like it's just they've already. But Missoula can't coach, man. Missoula can't coach.
Really?
Dude, Steve. First of all, Steve Kerr ran circles around Ime Udoka twice already, right? Like he he did it in the finals in 22, right? And we'll get there. I'm not getting there. What the thing that I said is that what I was trying to say is that the Western Conference champion is going to be one of these two. We'll get to whoever the finals. We'll see how people are playing. We'll see how people are playing. But whoever wins this series is gonna beat Denver or KC in the next round. Probably Denver.
So you're saying they're going to whoever wins here is going to beat Denver?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Whoever it is, I don't know.
Wow, that's a tough one.
I don't know. It's a toss up. The series is a toss up. But each of these teams will beat Denver. You don't
I
agree?
don't think so. I think
You don't
Minnesota
agree?
beats OK. I think Minnesota beats Jimmy and Golden State, and then Denver beats them. Denver goes to the finals, in my opinion. We will see.
What about this series? What do you got in this series, Dustin?
Yeah, I just flipped a coin. I really just flipped a coin, and I think
Chickened out.
I'm gonna go like last series. I did pick with my heart because I was like, I think the Rockets look good and they almost pull it off. But yeah, I'm gonna pick with my heart. I love Steph Curry and the
Yep,
Warriors, so
that's
I'm gonna go with the Warriors.
that's
And it's not because they're dramatically better, but man, they just have so many ways they can get you. Even if
Yeah.
they have like one off night, it's just okay. The next night they look totally different. A Jekyll and Hyde team.
that's their problem now, right? Now that they're not as young and they don't have those horses. That like the two versions of Golden State that you get are night and day. That's the problem,
Yeah.
right? There is no in between with them, right? It's really just what like if you get the really good dubs, it's over for you, right? But you can catch them. You saw it all year. You can catch them. You can catch them on
Even
a
the
Yeah.
series
on a bad
with
day
Houston,
and
you
stuff.
saw it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the one thing too I'll say is before we move on is like Draymond Green alluded to the fact that like this could be the last hurrah for the Warriors. So obviously they're going to go out guns blazing. So that's what makes them dangerous
Yep,
in my opinion. That's why I think
True.
okay, they'll
yep.
probably
Yep.
beat them.
I think the only two players that are under full contract for next season. Jimmy signed that 2 year deal, and then Steph's under contract. I think Draymond can leave after this season,
Mhm.
or they might not re up him or something like that. I think Draymond's can be off the table, or can be on the table to get out, and the rest of the roster is dispensable completely, right? As we know. So
Yeah. Terrible.
I don't want to say terrible, man. Like I think I think Kuminga will have a better role. Will have more of a role in this series. I think Kuminga. Steve Kerr has banished that guy, and I don't think it's deserved. Right? He's just his confidence is shaken. But Kuminga can be a difference maker. Moody played really bad today, but Moody has been playing really really good. In that big run after they got Jimmy, Moody played really well when they went to 17 or 27-3 or whatever they were. That great record after they got Jimmy. Moody was the guy for them, and he wasn't great this series.
Yeah, I mean he kind of kept him in the last game, the
Yeah.
game 6 as well. But yeah, no, those are all good points. I definitely would agree with you. But
What are
um,
your guys? What are your picks as we slowly conclude this? What are your picks? Who wins?
who I think we both agreed on the Cavs and the Celtics
Mm-hmm.
out of the East.
Yep.
Then with Nuggets and Warriors, I think we both agree too, right?
Yeah, I think Dubs get out of this. Dubs never make it easy anymore. They're going to go to 7. I think this one will definitely go to 7. But I got Dubs in 7.
Yeah, I'd say I think Warriors in 6 in
Ooh,
this one as
6.
well.
That six
Yeah,
would be a statement.
although they love Game Sevens, so
They do. It's like
we'll
they
see.
wait for it.
The Warriors
Yeah,
and I don't know, man. Game 7 is a coin toss. That's what it is, man. That's the problem, right?
yeah,
And Minnesota's been there before. Houston did it. Houston hasn't, right? And so or did it. They're out now, but uh, Game 7 is a toss-up, and that's why.
You guys are talking about the experiences, but Ant-Man might bring it, and he might
Yeah,
break
Ant-Man might end
through.
it early, man. I can see it happening.
Yeah,
I can see it.
that's what I'm saying. He might
I can see it happening.
end it early. Hey, I got final thoughts for you guys. A question: MVP Rose year versus triple double Westbrook. Who would you pick? Hasan.
That's a tough one.
That's
I
what
don't
I
think you
do.
can go
That's what
anywhere
I do
wrong,
here.
but look, I'm from Chicago. I got to go with Rose.
Bias.
It's MVP Rose. That OKC team when Russ won the MVP, and I think he averaged a triple double that year. Actually, I don't even know if he averaged a triple double that year. I think it was after. But I would put peak Russ at MVP Russ because the triple double, I don't even think they were that great. But they were still an 8 seed the year he won MVP. I think he got a triple double that year too. But whatever peak Westbrook was, I think that they're at 7 or 8 seed. They weren't higher than that, right? I think triple double year. I think that was the year where Dame hit the bye to him anyways, and there was a first round exit, right? So I don't think that it's anything. It was what Rose did during his MVP season. First of all, he called his MVP. That was number one, right?
Why can't I be MVP?
Why can't he be MVP?
Why not me?
Right?
Yeah.
He went to play Miami in the conference finals. They won that huge game 1, and then just got steamrolled. Right? That's just they ran out of gas. Right? And I'm from Chicago, biased. I'm trying to put the bias aside.
But
Go ahead.
but also, a lot of these players nowadays making the podcast rounds were saying, hey, look, there were a lot of times where people would have the rose. It was like the rose
The
flu
Rose
or whatever they
flu.
call it. Like
Yes.
Rose
they would
fever.
just like lie about
Yeah.
being sick to not
Yeah.
play him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if
Defender.
anybody did that about Westbrook. I
And
could be wrong.
There's
That's
a
a good
lot.
one.
There's a lot of stats about his triple double seasons, about his PER that season, and the stat padding that he did and stuff like that. So they were
Yeah,
they were he was going after the numbers, right? The thing
because
is,
for a non-center to do that is like kind of tough.
yeah, Jokic just
It
having
is.
the triple
It's
double
hard.
this year. By the way, that was big,
This year.
right? Jokic
Yeah.
just did it, and that was the difference making, in my opinion, right? And
But as a point guard, it's shocking. Rebounds is a tough one to get 10 a game. So
yeah. Look,
Exactly.
I can't say I'm going to tell you hands down, Rose's MVP season over the Westbrook seasons, right?
Yeah,
how
I
dare
just
you?
never
I'll
seen a
say that,
player like
but I
Rose.
can't sit here Westbrook gets a lot of shit, quite frankly, and he doesn't deserve it, man. They said he's a bad teammate, this and that. Westbrook, dude, you can see Westbrook just wants to play ball. He's a killer. He's still going, right? He's still going. He's old. He's way older now, right? He's 36, 37 now. He's in the same draft class as I think it was the same draft class as Rose, or maybe even
Melo?
before. But he's up there in age. I think it was the same draft class as Rose, if I'm not mistaken. But it was no, it was. I think it might have been the year before. But either way, they're right there in age, and he's still going, still got it. MVP Rose, in my opinion, over those Westbrook seasons. But I can't say that Westbrook is that great. Can't say that. He's
Rose, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill in the modern era, the three biggest what ifs in basketball.
Penny Hardaway.
What could have been?
I don't
Brandon
think
Roy. Brandon Roy.
I don't think Grant.
Brandon Roy, I don't know.
Brandon Roy. I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, it's because Portland, small
Yeah.
market. So.
No one. I don't hear anyone talking about what ifs with Brandon Roy, right? No one thought title, right? What ifs with Rose equals title, right? People thought, okay,
Yes.
there's a title, right?
That's true. That's true.
So.
All right, guys. What a great conversation. I appreciate you guys getting on. Thanks for the guests and the host and all of you joining. I hope everyone else enjoyed. Please add your comments. We'll conclude here, and we'll discuss when we get closer to round 3, and we'll talk about the conclusion of round 2 and get into more of the conference finals and the finals. Thank you both of you for joining. I really appreciate both of you guys. Take care.
Thank you guys. Take care, man.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Go Dubs.
Take care.
Go Dubs.